Oh yeah, pro intro. I still think it would be better if it was color-coded or somehow differentiated depending on the track you're at. I reckon that would be a cool touch, Codemasters, if you're listening.
Welcome back to Sochi. We're about to be joining the action down in the pit lane as the cars get ready to embark on their qualifying runs. This is the kind of track that eats rear.
Except if Diego Montero getting on a podium matters to him no matter how you do it, even if it's only a 6-car race.
Throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low speed.
And I've got to say, why are the driver suits reflective? Why is there a gloss finish on his pants? They're not glossy. Like, honestly. What were you thinking, Cody's? Okay, so I've got an array of controls in the bottom right-hand corner with no description on what any of them do. So that's good. That's good to see that they've done some quality updates to the game with the last change. Recommended for Q2, and I have tyres if I make it to Q3. I'm gonna have to try and get through here on one set of super softs. One set of super softs. Ah, well. Sure will be okay. Still no descriptions in the bottom right hand corner to describe what those buttons are going to do now. So I think we'll take the fuel out of the car. In fact, no, I need the iPad for that.
It's pretty quiet out on track. We should consider getting out there.
Yeah. So I'm curious about that as well. Obviously, they just call you the Renault driver or whatever, or even your engineer doesn't refer to you by your name at any time, which is sad. You should be able to choose a commentary name. Even get titles like Don Bradman Cricket have the ability to choose a commentary name for yourself, and that's a relatively cheap title by an Australian developer. So yeah, it does make you wonder why Codemasters couldn't do that. But I'm not going to sit here and rubbish the game too much. They've done a reasonable kind of job with it. It's not perfect. It's certainly not a sim in any way, shape, or form. But it's an enjoyable game to play, and at the end of the day, that's what they've got to achieve. All right. So what we'll do is we'll, if I remember what these buttons do. Park for May. Yeah, I know all about that.
All set. Everyone clear? Car to track.
Car to track. And we'll try and do this on one run. I'm still getting used to driving from T-Cam as well. I've always drive from cockpit cam, but it was suggested by somebody on the stream a while ago that T-Cam is better for the stream because it allows you to see more. So I'm not going to disagree with that. And for some reason, my look back button is now also triggering my radio, so that could be a bug with the latest update that I just installed today. So the fuel mix, it's a good question. You mean as a strategy for the race? Generally, the best time to change the fuel mix is when you're in clear air, when you're not going to get held up by anybody. I mean, as much as it's, you can deploy it down a straight to try and overtake somebody, is very helpful. But generally, what you want to do is when you're in clear air, use it, or to catch up to a pack in front of you, as long as catching that pack's not going to cost you too much time. So yeah, cockpit cam's always the way to go. All of the games I play, well, before that suggestion, but R Factor and I always drive from cockpit cam. If you go through my my video history, you'll see that. Also on iRacing and Project Cars, I use my Oculus Rift. But unfortunately, this game does not support that. Be cool if it did. That would be awesome. All right, let's see what we can do here, eh? I think we're going to really struggle here, to be honest. My pace around here has not been very good at all. Poor traction there. What do we got? Really wonder why VR isn't available. Yeah, I'm curious about that too. It is for dirt, yes, all that. There are so many things Codemasters include in other racing titles that's lacking, but really enjoy the game. Yeah, I guess it's probably because it's made by a different studio, so whilst Codemasters make it, it's made by a different group. But I'm not really sure. But yeah, I mean, having VR in this game would be really, really cool. I mean, I might be blinkered because I play a lot of racing games, but I kind of feel like VR is made for things like sim racing, or even just racing games in general. The immersion factor it offers, the way and how well it works. You know, that's the kind of thing that I feel like it was made for. And we've gone a lot faster than I thought we would. But we are slower than Kevin Magnussen. So we'll go back to the pits. I enjoy the game too. As I said before, that's the main thing that Codemasters need to achieve, and I think they've done a good job of that here. This is certainly their best F1 title, I think. I did like the first one, 2010, because it had the media interaction, and then they immediately started winding that back, which was a big shame. Actually, our pace kind of sucked, didn't it? Look at that. Although it is about to rain, so that could get a bit saucy for these guys. But I think we're going to have to go back out. We'll take the tyres we've already got, and we will go to track. I think we can go faster if I drive more aggressively. I'm still very much in tyre conservation mode on that lap. I think we can fang it around a little bit more, get more lap time out of it. I think we're going to have to, because yeah, we are. We've just gone into the drop zone, so what we'll do here, and this is going to be a real struggle for us now, you know. This session has not gone well at all, but I guess it was to be expected. I didn't think our pace was going to be monumental. But we'll give this everything we've got. That's nice. Thanks, mate. Some great engineer you are. Oh, I messed up my shifting there. It's alright. This is not much of an improvement so far. keep pushing, I think, just in case we can get a bit better. Wow, we're actually well down. Guess these tyres have well and truly lost their edge.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
What do we got? Would like a game that has more extensive career mode, like starting in lower leagues. Yes, definitely. 100% agree. Would definitely love to see, you know, where you can come up from lower formula. I think our best work's going to have to happen in the race here, unfortunately. Nah, this is pointless going on. I guess Project Cars tried to do that. I know in Project Cars you can do a career mode where you start in karting and work your way up, but I think to get to the Formula A cars as is in that game, you've got to drive a lot of junk in the process. Like it's not very clear. But yeah, that whole career progression thing's really cool. And I guess to be accurate to the sport, there could be things related to getting sponsors and things like that too, and getting good sponsors helps you with certain teams, or you know, whether you try and get in on pure talent or yeah, I think that would be cool as well. That'd be a nice sort of a nice dynamic to the game.
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay.
All right, well I think we can just go to the end of this session. Actually, we can probably just, might be better to just fast forward it, which I think we can do by doing that. Magnussen, P12. Car upgrades are working for him. Feel like I'm on a bad chassis. Well, I think we made Q2 though, just, so we'll give it another shot with better tyres at the start this time. Although it may be raining. It may be raining. Does this thing... No, it says it's dry. And we should be on the super softs. Alright, super soft meat. And how much fuel are we carrying? Enough. Gives us 2 laps of... 2 timed laps if we want them. So I think we might just...
If you find yourself getting understeer, then you're not getting enough grip from the front tyres. It could mean that the car...
Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Oh, and it is raining. It definitely is raining. What's he saying about the weather? Weather report.
This light rain is going to be with us for a while now.
I don't know whether these are the right tyres to be on, to be honest. It doesn't feel like it's wet enough. Super softs, but I've got no grip. Sorry for inters. But I've got no grip. We have DRS though, so this is going to be very interesting. And then you get drafted and have to play for the team for a year or two before being called up to the majors. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Say, I know they did that. I know that 2K Sports did a similar thing with their NBA franchise as well. I played up to NBA 16, but it would be cool that I think in their latest one they have it where you actually have to play college, and then that dictates a lot of things about where you end up in your career and the like. So. And I'm hugely slower than the AI. I think 16th might very well be where we qualify here, guys. They're on the super soft as well, but they've clearly got more grip than I do. Ah, man. .9 seconds off the pace. Blistering lap times there. Blistering lap times from Webimoto.
P7. Kevin's P7 at the moment.
What do you want, a medal? How these guys are going so fast, I don't know. I have no grip.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
Yeah, I think I've only got 2 laps of life left in me the way this car's handling at the moment. Seems kind of pointless to stay out, to be honest. I'm even losing all that time on my own. Wah! Yeah, I think we'll just go back to the pits. I think we better accept that we're going to be out of this session. Play college only 4 matches, then you get drafted and play in the NBA right away. So there is, no, I don't like that. I would have preferred them to have it where you really have to earn your spot. So Seb's out there on the softs in these conditions. These guys are basically, I don't know.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 52.9.
So this is gonna suck because Perez, my immediate rival, is P1. Kevin is P10, some 1 second faster than me. They must have done their laps right at the best time. Who knows? So anyway, we're going to be okay. We're going to lose points on our rivalry for this qualifying session, but hopefully we can make it all back up in the race. We certainly do have some work to do. But that's okay. I do my best work on Sundays. 296. I don't think that's enough. Got some work to do here. Almost got him in the third sector. Very close in the first sector as well. Got to beat him in the race though. Oh. Lost to Kevin as well. Oh. Oh well. Listen to voicemail.
Hello. I just wanted to pass on
Hello, is that you, Matt?
expectations for this race.
This is a message,
Good
sister and
luck.
lady. Got to beat Pettis. Got to beat Magnussen. Got to be 16th or higher in the champion. Well, we've already got that licked. We're finished on a podium, so we're going to finish higher than 16th. So, anyway, we will move on to next race. I just realised I've been saying I finished on a podium at Bahrain, but I didn't. I finished on a podium at China. But let's go to the race. And it's raining.
Good afternoon
Fantastic.
from Sochi as we prepare to get underway for the Russian Grand Prix. The championship battle has some time to go yet, but still expect no quarter to be given here on this circuit that made its debut in 2014 and has already seen some classic racing. Built on the shores of the Black Sea, the Sochi Autodrome is a 3.6-mile tour around some of the venues built for the 2014 Winter Olympic
Yeah,
Games.
the straight circuits are tough. I haven't done any racing at Baku yet, let me say. So I will get to that. But Monaco, yeah, I've done lots of racing at Monaco and other games. But this game's really punishing, I think.
And alongside me to take you through it all is none other than Anthony Davidson. This was a circuit that I think in its inaugural race got off to a bit of a shaky start, but since then it's really drawn the fans in and become a very popular event. What do you think?
I don't think so,
Well, this
Crofty.
just goes to show the importance of
Honestly.
fixing problems as and when you discover them. As a complete unknown quantity in 2014, the tyre choice was quite conservative,
Which
didn't
bit's
really
that,
allow
Sunrocker?
much
Is that the
development
the really tight
pretty
bit,
much as you were
or
from Meister Flag. But that was a
you know,
great
where you go
learning
up the
experience,
go up the
and
hill a
came
little
back
bit
for
between the
next
castle?
year And had a really exciting Grand Prix with battles for the podium going on all the way to the final lap. So hopefully we'll be treated to more of the same this year.
Okay, so you're lower on the grid than we wanted. Let's make the start count.
Oh, thanks, mate. Can't even let me start the race having
So
a crack
before
at me.
we off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic
Max Verstappen's on pole. I didn't even notice that. That's
Starts from pole
ridiculous.
position, and Nico Rosberg
Yep.
completes
Yeah, I know the bit
front
you're talking
row.
about.
Looking down the rest of the grid, we have
Really
Hamilton,
punishing.
Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas, and Vettel, Raikkonen, Alonso, Perez, and Felipe Massa, Magnussen, Button, Daniel Kvyat, and Sainz, Grosjean, and a Renault, Nico Hulkenberg,
And a Renault.
and Esteban Gutierrez.
It's just a Renault. That's all we know about it.
And Ericsson, Felipe Nasser, and Rio Haryanto completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
All right, here we go. It's race time. Let's have a look at the strat. All right, so we'll just there's really not much to see here in terms of strategy. Yeah, I think it's a lot more wide open. It's faster than Monaco. I think you can hack it up a bit more as well, like in terms of you can drive really aggressively there. There's a bit more margin for error. So there's not much we can do here in terms of strategy. We have a 27 lap race. I'm just going to get our inters and see how long it lasts for, because it looks like it's going to dry off, so we don't want to take the full wet. I reckon it's going to take an hour. Oof. So we don't really need to. We might need that fuel later on, so I think we'll just go with it.
Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs.
I need to really fix that.
Grosjean ahead.
Oh man, I love the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. I think it's right up there as one of my favorite tracks. I mean, I know it doesn't necessarily produce the best racing, but the race there every year is always seen. It's a bit like Hungary, right? Where Hungary, despite being like Monaco without the walls kind of thing, always tends to throw up a quite an interesting race. You get odd results there. You know, you generally get weather there as well. Whereas Canada's a bit like that too, where quite often you'll get results that you don't expect. I was actually thinking about going to the Canadian Grand Prix next year, but I think we settled on going to Austin instead. Not my decision. I'd much prefer to go to Canada than the States, personally. But yeah, I think that Montreal is still on my hit list of places I'd like to go watch. Like to go and watch a race. Ah, take control. You know, I used to live in South Bank in Melbourne, and that was only 2 kilometres away from Albert Park. So I know exactly what you're saying. When there was years where I didn't go to the Grand Prix, but you could still hear it, like you heard it the whole weekend. All the cars driving around, even from early in the morning with the celebrity stuff. So, man, I hear you on that. It's such an awesome thing. The cars sound so amazing. I remember the first year of the hybrids, listening to them during practice and just being completely devastated that the Porsche Carrera Cup cars were louder than them. Anyway, we'll see what we can do here. Our initial launch didn't seem that great. Oh! But then, I think we'll...
That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
That's a... That's highly unfortunate. So I got wheel spin, and then... Right, that was some pretty scrub driving from me. I think we'll... Yeah, that was pretty bad. So I was about to say our initial launch didn't seem that great, but after that we're okay. But I'm getting wheel spin into some high gears here. Why?
That looked bad. Are you all right?
Wow!
You know you're all right.
I've just been clean driven into by a Haas there. We'll watch this again, because I've been clean driven into by that Haas. So we were going alright. And then that Haas has come in and fair ink and driven straight into the side of me. And then I'm out of the race. So that was some good driving there by which Haas was that? Was that Gutierrez? I think I've got a feeling it was... No, it was Grosjean. Or, you know, I was only going to excuse him because I thought he might have got hit by the Force India. But wow, that's pretty... Oh, hang on, I didn't want that. Ah! Ah! I flashed back at the wrong point. Alright, I've got away with that damage, even though I'm slow. Oh, come on! I barely touched him.
You knocked the front wing. The damage only looks minor, but you'll need to take it easy to avoid making the problem worse.
I bet you my car will handle like a shopping trolley now after with that front wing damage. Alright. So we're... Okay, so we were ambitious on the brakes there. I think that's fair to say. But we somehow got away with it. There is really not a lot of grip out here. This could end very badly.
Okay, copy that.
Alright. P13. So... Aye! Come on! Good. Gonna lose a lot of time at my first stop. Getting that front wing change, but we need to gap Gutierrez a little bit. I don't like having the AI behind me.
Confirmed.
Or right behind me, I should say. Obviously, the more AI behind me, the better in these circumstances, because it means I'm higher up the grid. But I don't like them right behind me because they do have a tendency to clean drive straight into the back of you.
Say again, you're breaking up.
5-stop race. I sincerely hope not. Wow. Just didn't...
Considering switching to an alternate strategy, do you want to change or stick to plan A?
Keep current.
Confirmed.
I've got a sneaky suspicion I have just done some significant damage to my front wing. Came in far too hot into that corner. It was only a matter of time before I did that. Cancel.
Okay, fitting the wet compound when you next come in.
What? I didn't say that. Intermediate tyres.
Copy.
I didn't say that either. I really need to fix that button. In fact, next time I'm on a straight. I need to fix that. Controls. Oh, I don't want to do that because it's going to break my controllers. I'm just going to have to live with it, I think. Oh, that's painful. When I fired up the game today after the update, my controls were all broken. The worst thing about all of this is I'm in a train of I'm at the head of a train of cars.
Okay, we'll move the front wing angle to a balanced setting next time you're in.
I'm actually really kind of getting sick of that. I think I'll just stop using my look back button. I should just use mirrors anyway. But yeah, the worst thing about how the race has gone over the last 2 laps is that we've fallen back into the hands of Gutierrez and the train behind us. And I think as the track dries off, that's only going to get worse because I'm going to start having lots of no grip because of the damage I've done to the front wing. That's good. It's good that the front's just locked as soon as I hit the brakes there. That makes life very easy. %100% races. See, I'd like to do that. It would make the streams crazy long though, wouldn't it? Like 2-hour-long streams. Just for the race. Imagine Singapore 100% stream. Particularly if you had a safety car. Okay, too tentative I think that time around. Ah, wheel spin. Fix that up. Yeah, 4 hours it would be too, for sure. Hey, Sky King HD. Wow, that's I think I might have forgot to go to 8th gear there. In fact, I'm quite sure I did. And Grosjean's just driven straight past me. In fact, going to lean fuel may not have been the smartest decision I've ever made in my life. I'm good, man, I'm good. I'm struggling a little bit at the moment. Alright, let's see if we can get him back. We did. Try not to make a silly mistake like that again. And then immediately make a silly mistake like that again. Good stuff. What have we got here? Bit of bants. Is this second season of first season? Yep, there we go. Thanks, Senraku. Current Renault colours make you think of Jordan. Yeah, man. Let's talk about Jordan because I love Jordan as a team. It's such a shame they're not on the grid anymore. Not so much how they were in their last couple of seasons. More so how they were in the late 90s. I used to. I'm a big fan of Giancarlo Fisichella, and obviously he had a couple of stints at Jordan in the late 90s and then again in the early 2000s, in between his stints at Benetton. And then when he went to Sauber before he ended up back at Renault for 05. So, but Jordan were always so cool. It was such a cool team, and their cars were always so distinctive, except for 2000. I think it was 2000 when Minardi ran the bright yellow, the fluorescent yellow livery. That was a really nice. They had the Telefonica sponsorship. Jordan were great. I really wish. I'm glad there's a yellow car on the grid again. All the best Formula 1 grids I've seen have always had yellow cars, and I do like the sort of the gloss and matte finish. That's not really surprising. Wow. I am not handling these conditions well at all. I've got no front grip. Rosberg? What's he doing back here? I feel like it's drying out a little bit, and my lack of front end grip is really starting to hurt me. Oh, I could benefit from these two, though. Come on, man. Aye! Well, that wasn't very nice. Okay, so this race is not going well for us at all. I feel like I want to push harder, but with that front wing the way that it is, it's a boat. I got no front grip. This is really, really tough. That's just embarrassing. Yeah, as it's drying off, I've got no grip. Weather report.
We shouldn't see any rain, but if a storm front does appear, then we'll let you know.
Shouldn't see any rain except the rain that we already had. Yes, Sky King, I have a wheel. That's it. Box this lap.
Understood, stopping this lap.
We're gonna roll the dice here, guys. I have no grip with the front wing the way that it is. Come on. And we're gonna risk it for the biscuit. I know there's a certain person in this in this chat right now who's going to be very keen on this decision. We're in the comment section, because this is a very Jean Alesi-esque kind of move. Alright, this is going to be a long stop because we've got a new front wing to go on the car. But we're going to risk it for the biscuit. It's gone well so far because I've clearly got lots and lots of grip. I've literally just driven out of the pits, mate. What do you think I want to do? Keep current.
Copy that.
So ironically enough, I have more front end grip because of the fixed wing, but less overall grip because the tyres are yet to be in the element. Although, guys, I'm going to say we've made a terrible mistake here. We've gone onto the slicks far too early. But although we are less than 10th down on our slowest time, on our fastest time, sorry, through this sector. And the oversteer is helping us get around the corners. So they've enabled DRS, which is generally a good indication of when it's actually a acceptable time to switch. So we might have beaten a pack here a little bit, but we've probably lost so much time that the overlap's not going to work for us. Although we have passed somebody in the pits, Verline, I think. Okay, so the other cars
Pits.
have started pitting. Whoop. Hardware lockup. Don't know what's causing that. We got purple in the last sector. So we actually, overall, didn't lose that much time, because that's Hulkenberg right just in front of us, so... Now, our next problem is going to be is that we're going to have to stop again. And I'm not convinced that the AI are 13 to go. And a soft tyre.
Some information on Alonso. It seems they fixed whatever the problem was. They're coming back up to speed.
Geez, that only took like 20 minutes. So I assume all of the AI have been through the pits now, which means that in the long term, this actually, Hulkenberg clearly lost time for another reason. This hasn't worked out for us at all. My fastest lap didn't last long, did it? Oh, forgot where I was on the track. Yeah, we did lose a lot of time off the start. With, well... The first time around, my crappy driving. But, yeah, the second time, just Grosjean clean driving into us, and then me resuming the flashback at the wrong point and having to take that contact, so... Okay, so the race, the track is near enough on completely dry now. Oh, come on. It just keeps getting better and better. Alright. Well, this race really hasn't worked out for us at all, so let's talk about... let's talk about cars that... that wasn't a corner cut, it was a bloody brake lock-up. I'm going to get disqualified from this race the way it's going. Anyway, what I was going to say was, let's talk about Sochi as a track. And what it brings to the calendar. I can answer that question on behalf of Formula 1 fans everywhere, and the answer is nothing. It brings nothing. Except a rather interesting turn 3. I will grant that. You know, this corner here, this big, huge, long, sweeping left-hander. Interesting. Does make me pine for, you know, Istanbul circuit. I'd definitely love to see Formula 1 go back to France, to Magny-Cours. I love Magny-Cours. Such a great track. Maybe not presenting the most watchable races there's ever been, but as a circuit, it was so fun to drive. Like, those chicanes required maximum commitment. I think there's a fair chance I'm going to get lapped in this race, by the way. The good news is that when I come back to Sochi next year, I'm going to know this track really well. Because before coming there for this race, I hadn't done many laps on it at all. But now I feel like I know it pretty good. So that will help me next season. But obviously this race is a disaster. Be right back. Sorry about that. Shame that Nürburgring and Imola are not on the calendar. Nürburgring definitely. Imola, absolutely. Imola is, well, it's not hyperbole to say that it's my favourite track. I love Imola. It's an absolutely amazing track. I was in fact doing laps around there on Wednesday night in project cars. And having an absolute blast. I've only done one online race in project cars and I've got one win. So that was certainly nice. So Monza's interesting, right? So I've driven a lot at Monza on all kinds of games. What I can say about Monza is that it doesn't produce great Grand Prix. I don't think many people would argue that any of the Italian Grand Prix have been at Monza. Not a lot of them would feature in the classics list, despite its long straights and the fact that cars carry so little downforce means that they're all pretty much at maximum. So you don't tend to get a lot of overtaking, even though you've got long straights to get it done. And DRS is quite ineffectual there because the no downforce as well. So, but as a lap to drive, Monza is a lot of fun. Monza is because it's a commitment. It's a commitment lap, and to win there. Or to perform well there means that for a whole race, you've got to be really committed, and it's one of those tracks that's really rewarding to do a good lap at. But in terms of watching races, yeah, no, I'd agree with that. It doesn't produce exciting Grand Prix. Imola's much better for that. A lot of people say Imola is processional. There is a little bit of that to it, but you do see the cars having to work a lot harder at Imola. And the drivers, therefore. Great tracks I'd like to see backed as well. I mentioned Turkey before. I love Turkey. I think that Istanbul's a great track. It's the best one that Herman Tilke's done, and it's a shame because it's it's not on the calendar anymore. Bahrain's a nice track, but I feel like Tilke done his best work at Istanbul. The elevation changes are really nice. The track has a nice flow to it. The first sector's quite technical, whereas the last sector's a lot more about speed and high-speed grip. So processional. Processional means that the races they tend to be a procession. They don't have a lot of overtaking. Sort of basically just end up with long trains of cars and not much in terms of positional change. So you don't get a lot of overtaking, which is what they were trying to fix when they introduced DRS. Oh, Hulkenberg's out of the race. Virtual safety car, right? That means I need to slow down. So processional just means that the race is sort of like a lot of them today, even with DRS and the like. Races are decided at lap one, kind of thing. Once once you get through turn 1, you don't really see a lot of overtaking. So yeah, that's what processional means. Just races that yeah. Oh, it's ending. It's ending.
Right, some information on Grosjean. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
What about other great tracks that I've seen over the years? I was so happy when they went back to Austria. I always liked the A1 ring, as it was back then. The A1 was the sponsor, the old Ostrike ring. The way the track is now, it's such a nice track. It's a short lap, so it's not particularly challenging. You know, and the races tend to spread out, but it's such a nice looking track and such a nice looking place to have a Grand Prix. And it's really nice to drive around as well. It's got really nice flow to it. And Magny-Cours, I already mentioned it previously, but Magny-Cours was one of my favourite tracks as well. One of my favourite tracks aren't on the calendar anymore, which is a shame. The old Hockenheim ring was really cool. Seeing the cars go through the forest at insane speeds was quite nifty, but they shortened that track off a long time ago now, and they sort of just built like this curving straight in between. And I'm glad they kept the stadium section because it was always nice. I remember Rubens Barrichello won his first race for Ferrari at Hockenheim in the rain, or sort of, and you know, I think he went to slicks at some point. Or sorry, I shouldn't say slicks because they had grooves, if memory serves. But he went to dry tyres very early. I still remember him sort of skating through the stadium section, even up to his last lap. You know, obviously people were quite emotional. It's always quite emotional to see a driver who's been around for a long time win his first Grand Prix. But yeah. Indianapolis, yeah, the road course. So, yeah, I don't really miss that track either. Yeah, I think we can agree on that. Other tracks I don't miss: India and Korea were both. I don't know. There's just those tracks, even to drive on in sims, or even on these Codemasters games. There's just no joy to them. They were so joyless to drive. They didn't feel like nice racetracks. They just felt, you know, average. Tyres are starting to feel a bit secondhand. What are some other tracks I don't necessarily miss that are off the calendar? So Gutierrez has caught me here. Probably because he's on much better laps. Sorry, much better tyres. Although there's not really much point pitting with 3 laps to go. I'm going to lose position to him anyway, courtesy of my my time penalty. Well, that was genius, wasn't it, mate? We'll have a look at that, eh? Ugh. You are an absolute scrub, Esteban. You really are. An absolute scrub. Did I say I had a stop-go penalty for cutting a corner? My goodness, this race has been such a disaster. I'm going to finish last of the runners, I think. But at least I've learned another track. Even if I haven't been particularly quick here. Oh dear. At least you guys have been able to watch some really terrible, pitiful driving here. I've got 2 laps to try and go without getting lapped. The thing is that, like, in a lot of ways I don't feel like I've driven too badly. This being my first career race around here, or first proper race at all around this track. But, you know, the incident at the start, being forced to sort of compromise strategy so I could get my front wing fixed. Yeah, it's been tough. But at least what I can say is that this result is better than Polygon Palmer would have been able to manage. I'm just saying. Hey, F1 Legend 12. But the next race should be at a better track for me. I think we go to actually it probably won't be, thinking about it, because I'm pretty sure the next race is at Spain, and I haven't raced against the AI at Spain, but I have been forewarned by people in the know that the AI are very, very fast around Circuit de Catalunya.
Some information on Grosjean. They're speeding up again, so I expect they fixed whatever the problem was.
That's nice. That took them like half an hour or so. Could just bloody retired the car. But we'll still approach Barcelona with the hope of getting a result. Obviously it's a track I know. I've done a lot of laps around Barca. You ask a good question, F1 Legend 12. So it rained in qualifying, and I missed out on getting into Q3. And for the first time ever in this game, I am being blue flagged. And then off the start line there was an accident, and I got damage, and then that subsequently cascaded into getting even more damage, because at the start of the race was wet. So I pitted early, very, very early, to get my front wing fixed, and then I took dry tyres on at that point, and it was probably 2 laps too early, and I lost a lot of time through that. So, but yeah, it just hasn't been a good race. But you know, I've said that I'll take the result unless it's, you know, unless, you know, what happens on the track is absolute garbage. This is just how it goes sometimes. But we'll bounce back at the next one. At least that's a realistic result for Renault, as it stands right now.
Brilliant stuff from Mercedes today. That's another historic win.
Historic? I think you throw the H word around a little bit too much there, Crofty. Historic victory.
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting.
You mean
to
the
situation
virtual
quickly.
safety car,
We've seen teams in the
which is
past
supposed to
throw
just
away
neutralise the
wins
race
because
until
they're
such a
too
time you're ready to
competitive.
resume.
But here, they were decisive,
So,
and that's
because there
allowed
was
them to take the
no
advantage.
safety car per se, Magnussen got 2
As I
points.
say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix.
Lewis Hamilton never ever looks that happy on the podium. I'm just saying. No, I kid. And Daniel Ricciardo never looks that unhappy on the podium. And no, I actually mean that totally legit. Dude would
So
usually be
then,
blinding
it's
us with
time
his
to see
smile.
how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Clearly,
It's got to
Matt
be
Webb.
Rio Haryanto.
Rio Haryanto?
Lead for me today. Really impressive stuff.
Where is he?
Here's how things are shaping up.
P15 Rio Haryanto. Driver of the day. Driver of the day.
From the challenging pack. Another team that excelled
Driver of the day,
today
Rio
was
Haryanto.
who make further progress up the
Done the
table.
slowest,
That's
fastest
it
lap
for
by
today's
everybody
Grand
except
Prix.
Ericsson.
Goodbye, and see you again next
What a
time.
disgrace. What a disgrace, Dan Davison. You need to take yourself outside and shake yourself, son. Because that's disgusting. And look, I've still got no example down the bottom, on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, about what the buttons are actually going to do. And Nico Hulkenberg has a penalty that's worth... Hang on. I want to see that come up again. Nico Hulkenberg's penalty is 4,294,967,295 seconds. That's quite a penalty. I don't know what he done, but that penalty is so large. I think he's been penalised back to the Austrian Grand Prix of 1996. That's quite extraordinary. My favourite driver, so of all time, Giancarlo Fisichella. Slightly biased in that because I used to do some work for him. And before that, it was Jean Lacy. So Jean Lacy and then Giancarlo Fisichella. Fizzy remains my favourite. Wish he was still on the grid. Understand that he's not. So you know that's just how it is. So in terms of the favourite driver on the grid as it stands right now, though, probably Fernando Alonso, which is unusual because I spent 2005 and 2006 completely despising the guy for shading Fissy. So, oh man, I've been left with it all to do against Perez here in this bloody... Wow. I've got to make sure I have a good weekend at Spain. So, but yeah, favourite driver of all time, Fisichella, on a personal level. In terms of the best drivers, Alain Prost. Prost was a boss, so a lot of time for him. What about you? What about you, F1 Legend 12? Who's your favourite driver? Currently on the grid and of all time. In fact, let's ask everybody in the stream. Favourite driver. Favourite driver of all time. I think I know the driver who's going to get mentioned the most out of that. And favourite driver on the grid as it stands right now. This is going to be terrible for my season career score. Well, that didn't go the way we wanted to.